Okay, welcome back to SNC Podcast, episode 43. We have Chuck again, finally, after like
I know,
almost
right?
a year. Yeah.
It's been too long, my buddy. It's been too long.
I would say tell everybody who you are, but everybody knows who you are.
We should tell that one person, right?
Yeah, yeah. Tell the one person who you are.
For you, right there, you out there. What's up? I'm Chuck Pineau. I'm a freelance writer and editor. I've done some such projects as Welcome to the Void, Belial, and Essence House. Those are the ones that I've worked on as a writer. And then, of course, as far as editing is concerned, I don't even know how many projects I've worked on. Every once in a while, something will come out and I'll be like, oh, crap, I worked on that like 2 years ago. That's great. So, you know, if you find something with my name on it, I'll sign it, whatever.
Yeah. You have Belial coming out soon.
Yep.
Like
Belial's coming out early October. We're aiming for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So, I think I saw like you mentioned the title, or you tried mentioning the title, and then Aaron down, he was saying something about that.
Well, I actually didn't mention the title.
Oh, okay. You said something about the title.
Yeah, well, basically, we have our titles.
Yeah.
Or episodes because Belial came out and it was just Belial. And it's a mini-series, so there's going to be there's going to be four issues. And so what was neat is Sean and I were just talking, and he said something, and I was like, dude, that has to be the name of the last issue. And he was like, oh, crap. Yeah, okay. So that kind of gave us a theme. And I'm not going to name that one, obviously, because it's going to be a while. But you know what? Since this one might not be out for a little bit, I can tell you guys that this one is going to be called Make Mine a Double. And, right? It's all about about the devil who owns his own bar. And so we decided to go with the bar theme. We've been leaning on that one, especially for the Kickstarter and stuff, really heavy. Like, just having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, I saw like Sean was posting about like if he should do the same theme for the Kickstarter like last year, or if he should change it.
Yeah. Sean and I are an interesting team because Sean is super nervous and really wants to put everything together and make sure it's perfect. And I love that about him. I really do. I am happy-go-lucky, fly by the seat of my pants. Don't worry, it's going to work. And I can tell you, my wife has been with me for 20 years, 21 years almost. And even she gets frustrated by the fact that it does work out. Like, I'll just tell her, I'll be like, don't worry, baby, this is going to work out. We're in a really bad situation here. Like, you have no idea. Babe, I know. It's going to work out. And it does. And even it's gotten to the point in my life where I'm like, I just know something will happen. And, you know, of course, I always have things that I'm trying to do to make stuff happen. But, yeah, sometimes I get a little – it allows you to be lazier than you want to be because you're like – people are like, oh, dude, you know, what about this thing? And you're like, it'll work out. Yeah, but how? I don't know. Shouldn't you do something? Probably, you know.
I feel like that's more how Dylan is, and I'm more like Sean.
I think every team needs that.
Yeah.
I think because Dylan and I have to chill out,
Yeah.
you and Sean, or else you guys are gonna go fucking bald. All right, and Sean's already there, so that's not an issue anymore for us. But you guys, we need you guys because every once in a while, you guys got to slap us and go, hey, yes, okay, it might work out, but you actually have to do something. Like, we need to actually get this done. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, that's definitely Dylan. Yeah. Yeah. I am still not caught up on Essense House, but for those that are also not caught up, well, it's like the little elevator pitch for that.
I mean, it's funny. The elevator, the pitch gets smaller and smaller. But basically, Essence House is a time travel family drama, and it's about a family who basically finds out that their strange, eccentric upbringing had so much more behind it than they ever thought. And so throughout the series, we're now on season 2, you find out more and more about their family, about their ancestral home, and all that kind of stuff. It's been a lot of fun. Actually, literally today, we finished and sent off episodes 12 and 13, so episodes 2 and 3 from season 2, to be recorded by our voiceover actor.
Yeah, I like all the sound effects, and just the voice work is actually really good in it.
Right?
Yeah.
The sound effects is great. That's Eric,
Yeah.
my partner Eric Cockrell, and he is really good. And one of my favorite things about that is, as like we got going, I was like, dude, you're really good at this. He's like, yeah. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna fuck with you. He's like, what? Yeah, I'm just gonna have weird sounds, and I'm gonna have them in tough places, and you're gonna have to deal with it. And he's like, okay. So like at one point they're on a highway, and I'm like, you know what? I think my guy is going to quickly pull off this exit and randomly drive in front of a truck. And that's going to force him to blow that air horn, and we'll see how he does with that. And like, I would just do stuff like that. So you've got two guys in a car arguing. One of them shunts over a couple of lanes to get out of the exit. Truck starts honking his horn, and our guy still has to talk through the whole thing. And so he had to get an air horn sound going that still allowed our guy to talk. And he made it happen, and he was like, oh, that was really not easy. I'm like, good, you're welcome. Like, it means you're really good at your job, and someone has to test you. He's going to come out of this a way better sound engineer. Like, he'll be able to handle anything. And they'll be like, dude, are you ready for this? He's like, oh, yeah, I work with Chuck. I can do whatever you want me to do.
Isn't Essence House going to be like a book or something?
Yeah,
like
so when we started working on it, it originally started as a novel, and we were doing that for NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month. And that was about 2 years ago. It was 2018. And it just didn't happen. And so then we, when we were going to come back at it in 2019 to try it again for NaNoWriMo, we were both like, no, that didn't work. That's not, let's try something else. And so that's when, as we started talking about it, we were like, dude, we could make this an audio drama. Like, that sounded like a lot of fun. And then as we started doing that, I was like, hey, man, these could be chapters, and we could turn this into an actual novel. And as we got further into it, we realized that even though we kind of had an ending for season 1, season 2 had a very good, like, had the possibilities of having a very tight ending. And I was like, well, cool. Then we put the 2 seasons together. That is literally the length of a novel. And we've got 20 chapters, and we're good to go. And that'll be like around 70, 80,000 words or something like that. And he was just like, yeah, okay, that's badass. So that's what we've been doing. We're excited because I know you're kickstarting your first video game soon.
Yeah.
We're kickstarting our first novel. Like, it's dude, it's a Wild West out there, man. We don't even know how it's gonna go.
Yeah, don't even. Do people kickstart novels? I've never...
Dude, so they're bigger than comics. I had no idea.
Oh.
I actually asked Russell Nolte, who does a lot of novels. I had asked him. I said, you know, he mentioned that he was kickstarting his novels before we got to that, and I said, you're kickstarting your novels? And he goes, yeah. And I said, what's that like? How's that work? And he goes, man, there's way more books that are kickstarted than comics. I was like, oh, terrific. Maybe we can find a new audience then. Like, bring some comic people over, find some of these novel people, see what happens.
Didn't even know that was a category on there.
I didn't either.
That's crazy.
Dude, the categories on there are weird. Like,
yeah.
I remember one guy on there, his category, he would get a lot of comic stuff, and that's how I started following him. because he had jumped on a couple of my Kickstarters. So I'm following him on Kickstarter, and then all of a sudden I see like this guy got this card and this card and that card, and I'm like, what are they, like Magic the Gathering or something? And I looked, no, it's just playing cards. Like,
Yep.
literally, there's an entire thing that are just different types of playing cards, and I'm talking like regular old bicycle style, like.
Oh, I thought it was
like just trading cards and stuff. No, well, I mean, I'm sure that's on there too.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that would actually be in the board games.
Yeah.
No, this is like poker and all that, like just playing cards, regular cards.
Oh.
Yep. There was one I saw. It was hilarious. It's like, it was called Naked Cards, and I'm like, we've all seen naked cards. Whatever. What's so good about these that you're gonna try to kickstart it? Well, then I looked and I saw, oh, this thing is like, it's made like $7,000 or $8,000. Like, it's doing really good. And I'm like, come on, it can't be that good. So I looked, it's literally the actual like bicycle style cards, you know, like with the king and like that Art Deco art style sort of thing.
Yeah.
But they did that only nudes. Yeah, and so like, you know, like there's like spades over the nipples and stuff, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And yeah, man, like they did that. It emulated the style, looked really good, and they made stupid money. I'm like, oh, damn. Why am I making original stuff when I could just steal somebody else's idea and make a crap ton of cash on it that way?
Yeah.
We're dumb. You're dumb, Greg. You and I, we're trying to do our own thing. That's for idiots.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed like the comics that, you know, have like the TNA type stuff or whatever, and that gets a lot of money on there. But.
It does, and we're kind of taking advantage of that with Belial. we have 2 sexy covers. We were gonna have one, and we had one which is like absolutely hilarious. I don't want to go into it yet because we don't have it done to show off, but it was gonna be like a sexy cover, but making fun of sexy covers. And then, like, one of the big sexy cover guys, he and I were tight, we're really good, we joke around a lot, and he's like, man, and he bought Belial, and he loved it. He said, man, I would love to do a cover for Belial. And I was like, I don't know how that would work, man. Like, he does sexy women. Like, that's what he does. And his guys are cool, but it's all about the sexy women. And I was like, I mean, you're cartoony, but I don't know how that would work. And then one day he just sends me a message, and it's a sketch of what would be a sexy Belial cover. And I was like, oh, shit. Now we're going to have to buy this off you, aren't we? And he's like, well, no, I don't have to make it. I was like, no, it's pretty fucking good, actually. Like, I didn't think it would work, but it was good. So I sent it to Sean, and Sean's like, yeah, crap, send him money. Let's make this happen. So Steph Wilson has a sexy cover coming, and we've actually shown it on Facebook already, and it's really nice.
I think I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does a lot of those.
So that's what I thought. He does a lot of those.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Steph is a dude. You know what? I thought it was a woman for the longest time, and then finally we started talking, and I'm like, whoa, you're a dude. I just thought you were a really hot chick who was drawing like really hot stuff, and I'm like, that's great. And now it's like, oh, you're another dude drawing really hot chicks. Cool, that works too. It doesn't diminish your art.
Okay. Now I know.
All right.
Thinking it's a girl forever. Wow. Yeah.
Are you all right, man?
Yeah, just I've recorded 5. This is the 5th episode today, I think.
It's so funny. Every time you and I do an interview together, you're like coming off of a night shift, or you've just done like a bunch of work, and it's just like, poor dude, poor guy. Like, you're a busy dude, man.
Yeah.
You guys have a lot of stuff going on. So we've been talking about me, but you've got Nova's on there right now, right? It's on Kickstarter?
Yeah.
And how's that running for you guys?
We have $22,782. So
you mean 2,200?
Yeah, not 27,000.
Oh, I was like
I mean,
22,000. Holy
no,
crap! Way
if
to
we
go.
did, I would be like super. I would not have a job right now. I would be doing this because my whole plan is to do this full time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do it within a year and a half, but I have to save enough money just in case like something was to happen. I have to pay my debt off, and so first I'm paying my car payment off, which that'll be paid off by December of this year. And then I'm gonna like go hard trying to pay my student loan off, which is not a lot compared to most people. It's like $6,000. And
Oh wow.
yeah, I went to school for like a year, not even a full semester, like 2 semesters, and then I dropped out because I was like, nah, this is not me. Then yeah, so I want to do this full time, and I think it's crazy the amount of money that we made off of this Kickstarter. So
Good.
yeah,
I believe it's only gonna get better, man.
yeah, and if I can get 3,000, which is the next comic that I want to release, because every backer gets the other solo series. If we make it to that, which is like $218 away, then yeah.
Well, that's like when we got ink with the first one, right?
Yep, that's how I'm doing things is like, oh, like if we do this, I basically pay all the artists and stuff from my paychecks, and then the Kickstarter is just for printing. So
That's usually how I try to do it too.
I'm trying to figure out a different way so I don't have to do that, because I was saying to Dylan, he didn't know until like last year how much like it costs to make a comic book. He was just like, oh yeah, like it costs, make sure the artist does this. It's like, no, like I just paid him. He's not gonna redo that because I have to pay. He's like, oh yeah, okay, but still. I was like, no,
Yeah.
no, it's a lot of money. And then he's like, how much is it? It's
if Dylan really wants, he could pay that artist.
Yeah. I don't think you want to pay that.
No, I'm sure, man. Yeah, no, dude, making comics is so expensive, and you really do have to have an end game.
Yeah.
And it's neat how, I think we all kind of get into comics and we all go, okay, this is how it's going to go. And then when you get in there, you go, oh, no. There's a lot of ways to get into this. Like there's guys who, like, for me, I fucking hate publishing. I hate it. It's a lot of work. There's a lot going on. And it's not the stuff I enjoy. Us seat of the pants guys, we hate having to like fulfill Kickstarters and have to set. We're not organized like that. We're not built for that stuff. That's what you and the Seans and other people. You guys get that stuff. You guys, your brains work like that. I just want to write. I just want to create. I'm not. And you can call it lazy. You can call it whatever you want. That's fine. I hate that stuff, and it's stuff that I'm only motivated to do it because I care about the fans and I want to make sure that they get what they want. They want and more, and that we deliver. So that's why I do it, but I don't love doing it. So if I could work for someone else or something like that, I'd be all over that, man.
Yeah,
I'm always open to that.
Was definitely just like a lot. I'm still a lot like I just want to keep writing, because at work I just watch cameras and watch YouTube, or now Amazon Prime, because I have that for free right now.
Ooh.
But I just watched 1984, so that's insane.
The movie?
Yeah, it's so insane.
Did that feel like a documentary?
Yeah. And I listened to the book, because I'm not gonna read that. Dylan said like last year, he's like, I can't believe you never read that in school. Like, no, I read Animal Farm, and he's like, oh,
yep.
And that was one of my favorite books, which is insane because it's like communism. But yeah, but that movie is like verbatim the book. Like 1984 it's like they read the script is the book. Like I remember things that they're saying, and I'm like, that's literally in the book, like exactly how they say it. Yeah.
I mean, if the book made it work, why would you try to?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to like completely change it around? You know
That's
what I mean?
why I don't get when people. There was a guy at work that was trying to watch some Assassin's Creed movie, and I was just like, no. That's my favorite video game series. Well, one of my favorite. And I'm like, I can't watch that movie. He's like, why? I was like, it's so bad compared to the games.
I loved the games up to a point.
Yeah, I haven't played the last couple, but yeah.
Well, it was a really good series, and they had like a really good idea, and then they kill off the main character, and then they're like, "Don't worry, now you're the main character." And I played a couple like that, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't. I liked when there was actual characters.
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying this at all. Like, this just feels like you're just kind of just stamping everything. You're like, all right, it's in Greece. All right, they're Vikings. All right," and I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm not really interested in that anymore. Thanks, anyways.
Viking one does look cool, but I don't think I'll get it still.
Yeah.
And the last one I think I played was Black Flag. Yeah. It's like one of my favorite ones because I like pirates and Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
So.
I think I played the two afterwards. I don't remember. There was Unity, two that came out at the same time. Yeah, what is it? Unity and Rogue or something like that?
I would have played Rogue because you're like Irish or Scottish or something, and that was cool. But
they were good. I played both of them. They were great. But again, that main storyline is done.
Yeah.
So you're playing as you, and I was like, yeah, that sucks.
And after they killed Desmond, and I was like, oh, maybe he'll come back. Nope. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm probably done with this. Just kill the franchise. Thanks.
Yeah, right.
And then.
So yeah, after that, I was not interested about the movie either. I just never watched it.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to not watch it when everyone's destroying it. And you're like, okay, yeah, I'm not missing out.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Usually movies I don't criticize that much. I could watch almost any movie, and there are some bad movies. I watch bad movies as a thing, like on Netflix or whatever. And I'm like, it's like a terrible movie, but it's still okay to me. Yeah. I watch. Shit. There's a movie that I just mentioned in the last episode. So I saw the Birds of Prey movie.
Never saw it.
Yeah, that's better off.
Yeah, that's good.
I rented it on YouTube, and it's like, I wish I had my money back.
Oh.
And I like her as Harley Quinn, but whatever. I don't know what they were trying to do. Maybe because I'm a writer, and I know that it was bad, but I don't know.
Do you find, as a writer, it can be more difficult to enjoy things?
Now, yeah, because now right? I'm not a pro or anything, but I have 2, 3 short stories or something on Amazon, and then I have comics that are out now, so I'm like, yeah, I kind of somewhat know what I'm doing, and if this is good writing, because Art Belfield's like, you're a good writer, and I'm like, what'd you read? And he's like, your comics. I was like, you liked the Seer Chronicles? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, cool,
good,
thanks.
Yeah,
the new version is way better, so
I'm excited to read the new one.
It's way longer, and
I think you sent me the script.
Yeah.
And I've been so busy, I never ended up looking at it. And then I ended up coming up to it, and I'm like, I should read this. And I was like, no, man, they're in development. They're actually making that one happen. I want to read it. I'll just buy it again and read it and actually check it out and see what they did. Yeah.
I think I sent the old script, maybe. And that one is it's more of a storyboard, because that's what Dylan's saying. I mostly put out storyboards, and then he fills in camera angle type things, even though that's mostly for the artist. And we almost lost our artist because of Dylan.
Oh no!
Right in the beginning. Yep. They're I said this one thing, and then Dan's like, nope, bye. And I was like, wait, no, stop, wait, I'm gonna call you. Don't. And then Sean's like, oh, I can see where he's coming at. No, shh.
Yeah,
And
just let me handle this. I got this.
then I like persuaded him, and I was like, hey, oh, like I'll tell Dylan to like calm down, because like Dylan is like super director at times, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, he like, okay, you say you're really good at storyboarding, we'll see how you are. And then Dylan, once he saw that, he's like, oh, okay, I'll like quiet down. I was like, there you go.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that when you're making your first script, I usually tell people, be anal. Yeah, find your camera angles, all that. But if it doesn't matter, if you don't care as much about like a certain angle or whatnot for a specific scene, let them play with it.
Yeah.
Like I had one guy, he was telling you how the page should look and everything, and I was like, man, let your guy do his job. It's more fun if he can lay out the page. A lot of they love being able to do that. My only thing as a writer is that's most important to me is I want to make sure all those story points punch. So I'm really anal when I'm writing. I'll say, look, there's this many panels on the page, and this is how the page has to end. It has to end that way because I need you to be excited to flip the page and see what's on the other side. It's all about those little cliffhangers and really getting people going and excited to keep going. So that's where I'm anal, and they never have an issue with it. In fact, like Greg Warrenchak, who's worked on me with a bunch of stuff now, he'll randomly like I have a rule in my head, because these artists are paid as little as they are. A lot of times we can't pay them a lot. I just have told myself I cannot script more than 7 panels on a page, because anything more than that, it's way too much work. It's asking a lot of them, and it can get very like I can't tell the kind of story I want to tell, because it's harder to see everything. Everything's a little more compact. And I got some pages from him, and I'm looking through the script, and I'm like, that page has 8 panels. I know I didn't write that. And so I looked, and then I'm like, oh, cool. He added an extra sequence in there to kind of beef up the drama of that. And I'm like, oh, okay, the joke plays off even better now. That's perfect. But that was his call, and he made it better. Yeah. And that's just awesome. Like when an artist is willing to take those steps, and I feel that the more we work with a person, the more they're willing to step up and say, hey, man, this would be really cool. Let's do this. And you're like, yeah, man, you're the artist. Go do your thing.
Yeah. So now our like whole, because we have a system, because the reason we are remastering it is because the artist, well, one, didn't speak like really any English, and he didn't add a couple pages from the script, and then that messed things up. And Travis is like, well, I don't understand what's going on. I was like, okay, I'll redo it. So, but now we have a whole system, and now Dylan can be a director up until after the roughs. He no longer can talk. He can't say anything. Like once we get roughs, and then like we say what we need to say, which I picture it. I like look at the script and look at each page, and I'm like, that looks what it's supposed to look like. And then Dylan like goes deep into it, and I was trying to get him. It was like a week and a half for him to do for scales, and he didn't even have time to do that. And he's like, okay, so I'll look at the first like couple pages, and if I think those are good, I'm like, okay, well, I think they're all good, but all right. And it's a different artist. It's the ink artist. It's the artist for ink, Adam Fields. And I'm like, I already trust the dude. I trust both. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he looked at like the first 5, and he's like, oh, okay, that's fine. Well, what about this panel? Like, I can literally change like one thing of dialogue, and it'll completely be fine. Like, yeah, like I'm not going to have him redraw something like that. And he's like, oh, okay.
And that's something we need to remind ourselves, is that our dialogue is mutable. It can be changed. We can play with a little bit. So if they've drawn something that really works, but it would change your dialogue, cool, change it. Yeah. Like, play with it a little bit. You're talented, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper for us as writers to just go, screw it, I can make a little change. I'll insert another line or whatever, rather than going, do that panel again. Are you for real right now?
Yeah. I don't like them redoing things just because, well,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, whatever you want in the script should be in the script. I know, like, another set of eyes should be on it, but can't hire anybody else.
Well, but you guys have two sets of eyes. Does Dylan go over scripts?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one that, like, puts the camera angles in and stuff. Like, I don't really do that. I do, like, basically the main, like, plot of whatever issue, and I already wrote the third issue of the Seer Chronicles. That's already done.
Nice. Good for you.
It's super depressing.
I'm sold. Thanks.
It's very depressing. And I said that to him, and he's like, "You already wrote it?" I was like, "Yeah, and I'm about to write, like, the fourth one." He's like, "Oh." I was like, "I don't have anything else to do at work, so."
No, I get that, dude. I get that.
Like, I have other comics that aren't even supposed to be out until way later, and I was about to say to Hector Barrero, I was like, "Oh, do you want to do this comic?" But then I was like, not right now, because he's, like, super busy anyway.
Hector's a good dude too, by the way.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's like our number 3 almost.
Yeah?
Yeah, just because, like, he's on our other podcast, and then, like, he basically backs us up for, like, anything if someone has a problem. So he's cool.
Yeah, no, he's a really good dude. I got to work with him on a short. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I also got to go. I don't remember the name of his something in the duck or whatever.
Uriel and Goose.
Uriel and Goose. That's it.
But I'm sad because, like, he's, like, done. They're done doing that for now, and I can picture it as, like, an animated, like, show.
1,000%.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, I can totally see that." And Chris actually said that too, and I was like, if I had the money, I would, like, pay for that to be a show.
So why is he done with that?
They're moving on to a different thing instead because it's taken too long for some reason. I don't know the main reason behind that, but he wants to get the other things moving, and he wants to put, like, actually wants to publish things, and he doesn't want to keep redoing something nonstop. And I was like, "Yep, I totally get that. That's why, like, this is the last version of the first issue."
Yeah.
This is, like, the third or fourth version because I had one artist, which barely anybody ever saw that art, and he's, like, a skateboard artist, really.
Oh.
And he was not good at, like, sequential art, and I thought it was there because it was in my head, but Dylan's like, "That is not what's happening here," and it was, like, 4 different things happening at once because it all was happening in my head because I know the story. And then I had to get a different artist, which was the artist that we had last year, and then he messed up on certain things, and now we have Dan. So
Dan's a really good artist, man. I love what he does.
He even likes our colorist because he's like, "I like the cover a lot." I was like, "Me too."
Well, luckily he likes your inker too.
Yeah. Sean.
Right? Good dude. Yeah, no, I just think Hector's really good. I think what you guys are doing is really come together, man. I'm excited to see it happen.
Yeah. I can't wait for the video game and everything else.
Right? It's scary. I mean, I feel the same way about the novel.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I mean, even when we started doing the podcast, trying to market a podcast it's like a completely different animal. And you're like, why? It's entertainment. But it's different people. And trying to get into that community is really difficult. I think I have, like, on Facebook, I have, like, one friend who is a podcaster, like one friend who does, like, the same kind of audio drama stuff that we do.
Oh.
And that was it. We've talked a little bit, but getting that community is tough.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have that many listens or anything. I haven't done any, like, Anchor ads or anything yet, but, like, Aaron Dowen has said, like, "Oh, we made, like, $15 or something off that." I was like, "Oh, might do that."
Yeah, that's not a terrible idea at all. Holy crap.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah. We
But
haven't made a cent, but I mean, we're doing all right. We like we've never done the ads or whatever, but
yeah.
yeah, I mean, we're doing good. We hit 1,500 downloads recently, which was really nice.
I don't think we're anywhere near that. We talk more about like marketing and social media.
And that stuff's tough, man.
Yeah.
It's the same as like, people have said to me, they're like, dude, do you know what would help your numbers on Chuck's Raw Reviews? I was like, yeah, me talking about absolutely anything else.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, then why don't you do that? And I'm like, because that's not what it's about. I'm not trying to be, I don't want to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be YouTube famous. I'm not interested in that world. I'm trying to help out. I'm doing what you're doing. I'm trying to help out other creatives have a place to show off their book, to have someone else talking about their book. And I've had people go, well, you know, why aren't you having some negative reviews? And I'm like, because it's not where I'm at. It's not what I'm about. I want to get books that are enjoyable, that I think people will like, and aim them at their audience. That's it. So if the book is like just brutal, I just don't read. Like, I just don't talk about it.
Yeah. I like Art's reviews too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's does not care.
No, he doesn't, and that's why he gets the views. Like, he gets more views than I do, and he's talked to me about that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested. Go make your YouTube money. I'm really more interested in being a comic creator, being a writer, pushing that stuff, and then helping the rest of the community.
I do want to like gain a following on YouTube, but like we now have like 99 subscribers.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to get 100, so whoever's watching this, you can like hit the subscribe button right now, I guess. But
Yeah, come on, people, subscribe, like, share, comment.
And the Apple Podcast thing you guys do for Essence House, like we have to start doing that more for ours.
Yeah. We're actually we're in cahoots, or I don't know what it is, but we're getting it onto Audible right now.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And yeah, that was pretty exciting. Basically, we got this email that was basically like, you know, Audible's trying to make this stuff happen. Are you guys interested? And we're like, hell yeah, we are. Like, that would be super awesome. I think it was Audible and Amazon. And so we're like, yeah, we're all about that. So,
because Joe Vallon is doing audio recordings of his book, but it's on YouTube.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's still good, but he's like using the same kind of mic, or almost the same mic that I have, and he's just doing it without, you know, being on Audible right now, but it's still getting views or whatever. Yeah. We're not trying to be like YouTubers or anything, but like it would be cool to get the extra money. But
yes. Well, I think for us, the reason we want to get on Audible is bigger platform, and really for us, it's about the book. Like at this point, I want to be a novelist. I want to be able to say that I'm an author, and it's so funny that as comic creators, we can't say that.
Yeah.
No one, and you know, that's not even like I would have no problem calling you an author, no issue. But if I called you an author in front of a random person, and then they were like, "Ooh, what you write?" You're like, "I write comics." They're like, "You're not an author. You're not an author. Authors write books." And you're like, "You piece of shit." So that's why I'm like, I have to write a book, just so when I say I'm an author, they can go, "But you write comics." I'm like, "Yeah, but I got a book. Screw you."
Was trying to write a book this year, and then that didn't happen. It's like half. It's not even halfway. It's like a third of the way. Because I have to figure out
it.
What?
Did you outline it?
Not really. I like writing as I go, and then I'm gonna go back through it. But
outline, much better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because it's like I talk about social media. It's like the journey of like me writing to the point of getting up to the point of making this business, and then, you know, up until like present day. So, and it's called 5 on Power Level 5, because that's like microwave instructions for this Chinese food dinner thing that's at a grocery store that me and Dylan used to get. Yeah, that's what it's called.
See, I think it should be called pre-legend.
Pre-legend.
And it's all about you before you become a legend.
Yeah.
And they're like, you'll finish the book, and they'll be like, wait, but you're not one yet? And you're like, no, that will be down the road, when I become one.
Yeah. But it's like nonfiction, so it's like just weird to write that. And
yeah,
because I wrote a short story. It was like I just finished writing a short story last year or earlier this year, and it was like the book that was in my head since like middle school. That's the first thing I ever wrote, and like it was still stuck inside my head, and I was like, let's put this on Amazon. And I tried to figure out everything that I could remember from it because I don't know where that notebook went. Yeah. And it was a English project that I had to do. And I was competing with my friend Ryan that is in no way like a writer. And and it was like...
That's such a good lesson in life, people. If you're going to compete with someone who sucks. That's just a nice, easy bar. This guy can't write for crap. You're the one I'm gonna compete with.
Yeah, and then and I got like tons of extra credit because like it's way above. Like we were supposed to do 15 pages. It was a narrative like story, and I did 85 or something like that. It was in a composition notebook, but still. And then if I still had that, I would have copied the like same exact story and then just put it on Amazon because I don't remember how many pages it was when I was typing it out, but I think it's way shorter than like what I wrote on paper. But I updated it so it's a little more mature, and I made it's about like a security guard in this mall that actually is around here, and he's like a serial killer. And he's trying to kill the kids that are stuck inside the mall because they think they're all like hot shit because they're like, oh, we got locked inside a mall and we can just like stay in the mall forever. And but the dude's trying to kill the kids. And then they find out he's a serial killer, and then they're basically trying to run away, and then they end up trying to fight him. Yeah, that happens. But I didn't make him a serial killer because I didn't know that was a thing when I was in middle school. I didn't know that was
right.
I just had a security guard that wanted to like really hurt these kids. And my mom read it and she's like, "You wrote that?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, that's good." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Thanks, Mom. Well, see, and my mom was so disappointed. She reacted the exact same way everyone told me that she would react. And that was, I have these comics out there. She's excited about them. She shows them off. She talks about them. So great. She respects me as a writer, right? Like everything's good. And then we're on the phone the other day, and she knows about Essense House, but she knows about the podcast. So, but the audiobook. And so I was like, hey, Mom, I have something really cool to show you. She's like, what's that? So we have a mock-up of the cover. And the cover's all done and everything. So it looks like someone is actually holding the book. And so I sent that to her, and she's like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's so awesome. You're going to be a real writer. And I was like, you fucking, are you serious? She jumped right on that landmine right away that everyone said she would jump on. And gladly she leapt on it. She was like, oh, you're going to be real. I'm like, oh, I hate you. Do you understand how much more work it is to make a comic than it is to write a book? Are you kidding me right now? It's so frustrating.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Especially, like, let's be honest, nowadays, if you want to just get a novel out there, good. Write some piece of trash shit and then send it to Amazon and it'll get up there. It probably won't do a lot. You'll sell a little bit of or whatever, but it won't do much. Who cares? You can say that you're published. But even if I want to make a trash comic, do you know how much money I have to do and how much more work I have to put into it and everything? Holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to think of what I was saying. Um, yeah, I wouldn't even like want to make a trash comic because it costs so much money.
Yeah. And that's true, right? Like, if you're paying for art, you're like, well, I might as well make this really good because
Yeah.
I don't want to pay whomever to make crap. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my money.
And the original first issue of the Seer Chronicles, like I was just excited that I got art, like of my creation that I wrote. But now I'm like, oh, this is like what I actually wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got the
Yeah,
same.
and that really is the difference.
It's got the tone that I actually wanted. Like his art was a little more like close to Marvel-ish. Like not really, but I don't know. It's not as dark as I wanted it.
Yeah. No, I completely feel you there.
Yeah. So, yeah. Where can people find you?
Cool. So you can find me on Facebook, Chuck Pineau. You can find me on Twitter at ChuckyPin. You can find me on Instagram, Chuck Pineau again. You can find my Chuck's Raw reviews on YouTube, Essense House. You can find on any of your major podcast networks. Just type in Essence House and bam, it'll be there for you. Belial is on Facebook. If you look up facebook.com/Belial Comic. All of my comics are out of my own publishing wing called Bonfire Press. Yes, I am lazy, but I still publish them because if you want your name out there, you have to be willing to do it. And I think that's pretty much everything. If you're looking for an editor, I'm your dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's pretty much everywhere you can find me.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on, and yeah.
I appreciate you having me, man. Thanks. It's always fun chatting with you.
Yeah. Thanks. All right.